into another episode of Third League Radio. We'll talk WBD, we'll talk Shinsuke Nakamura, Eddie Kingston, but more importantly, we'll talk AEW WrestleDream. It's all on the way.
I'm Paul Stanley of KISS. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
I told you last night, no!
You're listening to your source for pro wrestling talk.
For those that are unaware, my name is Fuego del Sol.
Yeah, I actually used to wrestle for Ring of Honor before I signed with WWE.
You know, that name that you just named, I've never had a one-on-one match here in Impact Wrestling Games for Swan.
This is Third League.
World Women's Champion for NWA. I'm the first ever Mexican-born wrestler to hold this title.
This is the first time someone's introduced me as the Monster Hunter outside of a wrestling show.
His psychology was completely different, and it was more lucha style and Japanese style, so I got two completely different kinds of training.
This is Wrestling Radio.
All right, well, thank you for joining us on this latest edition of Third League Radio. We're going to start off with news about Warner Brothers Discovery, AEW's broadcast home for their entire run, pretty much. There's been rumors online. There have been the company's open to selling and all that. Well, yeah, that became a reality. WBD announcing in a press release this morning they're officially exploring a sale. I
don't understand that.
The company has to split up into two different entities, so I guess the Warner Brothers section is going to sell. It's, I would say, legal reasons, but how does this affect AEW? Because the people who ultimately buy Warner Brothers Discovery will take over whatever stake Warner Brothers Discovery has in AEW.
They don't have any.
Yes, they do. Now it is a
online conspiracy.
No, this
theory.
is an actual real thing. Now
no,
it's less than 10%.
It was on Twitter.
Stop. You're being a nuh-uh right now. That is very real. It may be less than 10%, but yes, they do have a stake. So whoever buys it ultimately takes over that stake. Does Tony Khan buy it back? Do they keep it? Do they keep it on WBD programming? I mean, there's a whole lot of questions here. Netflix was interested in buying it. What if Netflix buys it? Then AEW's not going to be on WBD programming.
Why?
Who does Netflix own?
You can't just cut a contract in the middle of it. That's not legal.
WWE, you can't just cut a contract in the middle of it. What did WWE do to Las Vegas? Who's supposed to have WrestleMania?
I thought they had next year's. Or this? Yeah, next year's.
Yeah. Boom.
It doesn't...
Contracts and stuff don't really matter anymore, as sad as that may be.
It doesn't hurt them anymore, and what you're explaining is WBD doesn't exist anymore, and everything is merged upwards, and it's gone. It's gutted. Only certain employees stay. That's what you're saying. It's not a merger. It's specifically but they buy out the thing, and then WBD is still running, but someone owns them. Right.
I get that. But if Netflix is the person who owns them, do you think they're going to keep a competing wrestling show on their owned streamer, on their owned network, on their own program?
I think they would, because it's two separate fundings. It's technically two separate companies, just owned by one entity.
Heard ESPN is really losing a little bit of money on the whole WWE deal.
Yeah, well, they were losing money to begin with, so I mean, they spent a lot for WWE. I'm sure it's.
But yeah, that is where the situation is with WBD now. We'll see where it ends up.
Talking wrestling around the world. This is Third League.
Well, we're going to talk Shinsuke Nakamura. We're going to talk Japan, because recently WWE did a super show in Japan. AJ Styles' last time performing in Japan for the foreseeable future anyway, maybe ever. But during that tour, which, I mean, AJ Styles' last show in Japan, it looked just empty. I mean, when WWE programming is so bad that even Japanese fans aren't going to come say goodbye to AJ Styles and say hi to Shinsuke Nakamura again, I mean, they got to take stock.
They could have made it a pay-per-view. You didn't even market the show. I don't get it.
But that's not what I was going to talk about. What I was going to talk about is during the tour, Nakamura made a lot of references to Hiroshi Tanahashi, shouting him out even during the last night there. Of course, they're friends. But that led to speculation that maybe Nakamura is Tanahashi's final opponent. Meltzer said don't count it out. I mean, there is a very strong working relationship with New Japan and AEW, so much so that the companies are almost intertwined at times. But it is Tanahashi. It is his last match. He can kind of go freelance if WWE allows it. He can kind of gets to make the call.
I think they would let him go. I don't think it's really a big deal for them per se, and they don't use Shinsuke anyway.
I mean, isn't Shinsuke's contract coming up?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he re-signed or not already, but he just surfs around and chills. They don't use him.
Yeah, that is true. But I don't know. That's some speculation that's interesting. Like I said, the relationship between AEW and New Japan is very strong. WWE been trying to build that relationship with Noah. Now, I know wrestling in Japan is different. They have the United Japan Pro Wrestling, where I don't think anything like that would ever happen in the United States. So there's a little bit of differences in there, but I don't know. See how all that plans out. It definitely is some interesting speculation.
Your source for pro wrestling and your place for modern rock. This is Third League. Rock and Wrestling Radio.
Well, now we got a segment, just some quick hits. I want to toss some things around, just things we've kind of heard out there. The backstage reports of a canceled match that was planned for AEW WrestleDream, which I might have actually liked to see, but Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, reforming the Golden Lovers, taking on the Don Callis family, well, members of the Don Callis family, Mark Davis, Josh Alexander. That might have been really good, but because of you can see that they're setting up that way because that's how Kota got injured, was in a match with Josh Alexander. Mm-hmm. But that might have been a really good one. Of course, we saw a little bit later on that how Kenny was involved in the show, at least in some way, in Callis family. We won't get into that because we're talking Double or Nothing a little bit, or Double or Nothing. We're talking WrestleDream a little bit later.
Where did that even come from?
I have no idea. But there was something else we were talking about with WWE on these quick hits. Was it WWE ID program or something like that?
What do you mean?
That we were talking about?
For what?
I've got a note written down, WWE ID, on the quick hit section.
I never said ID.
What did you say?
I said WWE using AI.
Why did I put ID?
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so WWE using AI. That is... you know what? Hold on. I want to save that for a second because I want to... No, I don't know. I do want to get into the Samantha Irvin saying she's still got another year on her no-compete clause, but I've got a lot to gripe about on this AI thing.
Well, let me just read through what figure... Wrestling Observer is reporting that Fightful said that WWE's been using it for years to determine things like when two wrestlers last had a match. They could have just used cage match for that. Also said that nobody on the creative team knew of anyone who used AI, but now the recent new hire is under the impression that he is brought in to find ways to help AI remove background noise, organize files, and work on production.
Well, I could say their storylines seem like they've been written by AI for a long time. Cheesy, unorganized, generic. I mean, yeah, it seems like, hey, let's just type into AI and see what we can go. We got ChatGPT.
I was listening to Jim Cornette. Usually I don't listen to him. It's very rare. But it was about WWE using AI, so I clicked on it. And they were saying how they saw something where AI was told to book something, and they were like, okay, Bobby Lashley comes back and he's obsessed with Japan. That's what the AI said. And they were like, Bobby Lashley's not even with the company.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like the names of people who are signing up, Blake Monroe. I get it. Maybe you don't want to use Mariah May. Technically, Mariah May was killed off in that match with Toni Storm. So you want to start a new character. I get that. Blake Monroe? Did you just type in a name generator? I mean, when Donald Glover did it, at least he came out with Childish Gambino. I mean, golly, at least pick something cool. Yeah, I don't know. WWE using AI, I think they've been doing it for years, and we've seen the effects. Empty crowds. But mentioning something we talked about earlier, Samantha Irvin, you told me that she's been under a no-compete clause, but she's still got another year left on it.
Yeah, she on Twitter recently, or maybe it was Instagram, I'm not sure, but she responded to someone who was saying that they miss her in WWE but are happy that she does music now. And she responded like, I didn't leave for music. I did a year and I still have another year. And to me, I don't know how you can enforce 2 years for an announcer. I think that they are...
You can enforce that for anyone.
Well, they're taking advantage because Samantha Irvin was a very popular announcer, and they don't want her to go over to AEW and manage Ricochet.
Yeah,
But Ricochet's only gotten hotter as he's been there, whereas I think most people did not expect Ricochet to do as good as he's doing.
I mean, I expected him to do good because he is one of those guys who was just going through the motions in WWE, and now he gets to actually work.
It took him a minute to find a character, though.
Yeah, it did. But I hated that for the longest time.
The human highlight reel.
But Andrade's going through the same thing where they're trying to enforce a no-compete on him for up to a year, which I don't... All they've got to do is lawyer up, because this seems like a slam dunk case for any lawyer.
What WWE is saying is that they fired him for steroids and behavior is basically what they're saying. But from what we knew is that he requested out and they terminated the contract. That's what we thought. Apparently the official reason on the termination was that it was fired for wellness reasons. Andrade thought he was good. Apparently he wasn't, and for breaking the 3-month, they're going to move it to a year.
Oh, but that is, just pettiness that won't stand up to a lawsuit, I don't think.
No, well, Tony Khan actually mentioned this on a podcast. As of recording, we were recording on Tuesday, so he did it today, and he was like, let me find what he said really quick, because I have a ton of respect for him, and I can't say much more other than to say that I'm very excited to see what happens next with Andrade.
Yeah, I mean...
So that's interesting. I don't know if they're going to sue for Andrade, but Samantha Irvin should be suing for her, because that's crazy.
Just nothing but pettiness.
2 years is crazy.
Talking wrestling around the world. Running the gamut of modern rock. This is Third League. Rock and Wrestling Radio.
Well, we got kind of 3 stories here that kind of running in together for me, and it's something I kind of want to bring up. First off, I want to talk about Bobby Horn, Sir Mo, from Men on a Mission, passed away on October 19th.
Also,
his story...
his tag team partner, Mabel.
But his story led me to some other stories, and it just really kind of highlighted something for me in the industry, maybe a change or something that is in the process of changing. You know, Sir Mo once asked for $30,000 from WWE to help with the kidney transplant, and they turned him down. Eventually, the money was raised. He did get the kidney transplant. But that story led me to the Bobby Fish story. Bobby Fish is injured. He's not asking for money yet, but he's starting a YouTube channel. He's in that area. I mean, it's not a liver transplant, but it is an injury where he can't work, he can't make money. So he's got to do something somewhere, and that led me to the Eddie Kingston story. And this is a completely different story. Those two are injuries, surgeries that, for whatever reason, they can't get their companies to help with. They don't have the means to pay for it. You get to a guy like Eddie Kingston, who has a lot of surgery he has to do. He got in that really serious injury close to retiring, and he could not afford it. His insurance would not pay for it, could not afford it. Tony Khan said, he called him, said, "Hey, I'm going to have to retire. I can't do this." He said, "No, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm going to pay for it."
He always does that, though.
But that's what I'm saying. We're at a point where a guy who comes in from a sports background, from the NFL, from the EFL, owning Fulham, not a part ownership of Fulham, part ownership of the Jacksonville Jaguars with his family. That's what happens in sports leagues. If your player gets injured, you pay for the surgery. Mm-hmm. That's not what has happened in pro wrestling. We see that in the previous stories. This is a change in the game. This is a moment where we're starting to see that companies are going to have to step up.
But it's very sad about Mo.
Oh, no, definitely. Yeah, it's just his death and his story led me to this kind of realization that this is a turning point. Yeah. This is a turning point in the actual industry because wrestling companies didn't do this before.
Yeah, Bobby Fish said he got injured, pulled hamstring at an indie show, and said he didn't have health insurance. He's having a rough time, and he's starting a YouTube channel to talk about stories and his career, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope he can make some money off of it so he can get injured and get back into it. But yeah, that is, I don't know, the state of the game today. It definitely needs to change. There definitely needs to be some type of, if not a union, a players association. The NFL has one, the NBA has one, NHL has one. There needs to be something for professional wrestling too.
Third League Radio.
Well, now on to the big show, WrestleDream. Well, first, actually, we're going to start at the Tailgate Brawl. The pre-show Saturday. You have to. You know why? Because the end of the Tailgate Brawl is what starts the WrestleDream pay-per-view. FTR taking on Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Mike Bailey. That brawl ends the tailgate brawl, I should say. Yeah. Goes right into WrestleDream. I saw some people kind of upset about this. Like Raj Giri, because, of course, let's just preface that with saying anything AEW does, Raj is against. That's just who he is. But he's like, even if this was intentional, it's confusing to the fans. And I'm like,
they've done this before. I don't understand. I don't understand people's memory today. Even Tony Schiavone was like, I've never seen this before.
It happened just like last month.
It happens all the time on AEW product. Do you remember? Well, this is different, but I mean, Adam Copeland and Christian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Collision led into Rampage, I believe. But they do it all the time, and it was so annoying to see that. I mean, the match went on too long anyway. It was great. It went on too long. FTR won, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they ripped up a fan sign at the end and just threw it back at them. That was good.
Now, this one, a singles match, it's Jamie Hayter and Tekla. This was a decent match, but you know what? I don't see where it fit on the card, where it fit in the overall story of everything. That being said,
it could have been on the pre-show.
Yeah. I mean, but that being said, the match itself was a good match. Jamie Hayter would get the win. 15 and a half minutes. Well, 15:35.
Yeah, that's long.
We'll move on to another
It was a good match.
Yeah, no, it was a good match. I just don't think it fit in the show.
They had a problem with time here that they did not expect. And I think that's because they added in that Mercedes Moné match that went way too long.
We'll talk about
that. Because the Mercedes Moné time was supposed to be the I Quit match time. And, I mean, we'll talk about it later, but they had to end the match early because they were strapped for time. The broadcast immediately cut to black. They had to be off by 30. 10:30, 11:30, whatever time zone you're in. It's just insane. Why would you add in a match knowing that your main event is going to be cut short and anticlimactic?
Well, you know why they added it in, but like you said, we'll talk about it later. Right now, we got to focus on Tony's newfound obsession, a $500,000 tag match.
Okay, well, this one actually made story sense. None of the other ones did.
Yeah, the Young Bucks were broke from winning their last $500,000 and spending their last $500,000. They needed this one back, but
what did they spend it on?
Well, gambling and
most of it.
Yeah, but Jurassic Express would get the win over the Young Bucks in this one, and just going to lead me to another argument about why are you turning Jack Perry
Why are you turning Jack Perry
into a combination, a caricature of Steve Irwin mixed with Crocodile Dundee.
When he shows that he's actually heel, you're going to be like, see, I knew it the whole time, even though you're like, bleh.
I don't like it. If that's what it turns out to be, good. But I just do not like the whole presentation right now at this moment. The World Trios title match. This was one match too many. I think it's just too quick of a time. These teams have had way too many matches in way too quick of a time. The Hurt Syndicate and what they're going by now, the Demand, Gates of Agony, and Ricochet.
Yeah, I wasn't really too interested in this one. I hope it's the end of the feud. It should be, because we have Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, the Hurt Syndicate would win the number one
titles.
contendership for the Trios titles, yeah. And they'll be taking on the Ops. Mm-hmm. So that should lead into a different feud with the Ops turning heel now. That should be a heel-on-heel feud. But I think the Hurt Syndicate will probably be the face in that feud, if I'm guessing.
I think they're faces now.
We'll move on to the TNT title match, as Kyle Fletcher would retain over Mark Briscoe. Almost 25 minutes, 24:45 in this one.
I thought maybe Mark Briscoe would get it. Just because it's Kyle Fletcher, you always have that he's going to keep it in your mind. But I thought if anyone was going to do it, it would have been Mark Briscoe. This is their fifth match together. They were 2-2, so this really should end this feud between them, and Fletcher got the win, so...
Yeah, Fletcher would retain in that one. This moves us to a women's title match. Chris Statlander, Toni Storm. It was a decent match. I knew Statlander was going to win, but they still managed to put on a decent match. Statlander would get the victory, 16 minutes, 33 seconds.
You seen those videos on TikTok where they're like, POV, you're a wrestler, and it's like, okay, there's one wrestler who's like, okay, I'm gonna take you into a hold, and then we're gonna go down, and then I'm gonna do my finish, which is this and this, and then... And they would do that for the whole match. Macho Man was notorious for planning out a whole match.
Yeah.
But when you do it, the way they did it, it didn't work, for one.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a lot of it looked good. A lot of it didn't really. It didn't capture the effect I thought it would to me. I think Toni Storm needs the title, but I see what they're doing.
Well, it was the most WWE-style match I've seen in AEW. Which I've seen more WWE-type stuff in AEW, and I don't like that. I don't like their trending that way. But this was the definitely most WWE-style match I've ever seen them do.
Well, Chris Statlander would retain, and this would set up a interview backstage where
Mercedes would come out. Mercedes Moné would come out and say she wants Statlander's title, and then she issued an open challenge for her title.
Yeah.
And then who would come out to answer it? Mina Shirakawa, the interim women's title for Ring of Honor, and it would be a title for title match, as Mina Shirakawa would accept. Now, you said, why did they have this match? It took 16 minutes 10 seconds, by the way.
Way too long.
They had this match because the very next night, October 19th, in Winnipeg, they knew that Mercedes Moné was going to be given the Winnipeg Pro Women's title, she was going to beat Jody Threat for the title. That's why this match is here, so she could break Ultimo Dragon's record on AEW TV. Not so she could do it in Winnipeg.
The reason, I guess that can be a reason, or it could be a minor reason, but the main reason is that Mercedes wins Mina's title. Mina goes to console Toni Storm in the back, and they form a tag team.
So they can get the tag team championships, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, breaking the record on TV, or on AEW TV, I think probably is the leading one in that, but that does set up, because they announced the AEW tag team titles.
Yeah, and
or
they had that
AEW women's
actual
tag team titles, excuse me.
Where Mina and Toni walked away, together.
But yeah, that does set up probably what are going to be your future first AEW women's tag team champions. Inaugural, yes. But speaking of tag team champions, we have got the World Tag Team title matches. Brodito was defending against Okada and Takeshita, and I said it when we were watching. I said, I think the feud between Okada and Takeshita is going to cost them the title, and it was Okada, intentionally hitting. He tried to make it look like an accident, but he hit the... he didn't pull up when, I think it was Brody King ducked under the... Rainmaker. Was it Brody King who ducked under the Rainmaker or Bandito?
I don't remember.
Either way, Okada didn't pull up. He just ran right into Takeshita, and then he covers his mouth like, oh, I'm sorry, and then he moves his hands, and he's smiling real big. Yeah, Okada was like, bye, and then, bam, they take the loss. But yeah, that is definitely going to be...
this might...
that's going to be for the IWGP title.
I was about to say, this might set that up, and you could even... Oh, God, if Gato and Tanahashi were smart, it would be in Japan, and Okada would take the title, and then obviously lose it back to Takeshita later.
Wouldn't that be great if they held it out till WrestleDream?
What?
Or not WrestleDream, Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good one. But then we'll move on to, what was surprising for me that this was not the main event. It is the world title. Adam Page would defeat Samoa Joe 19 minutes, 2 seconds. The match was good, but I think the more interesting story was after the match, Joe's holding Adam Page's hand in the air. The Ops come out, they're congratulating, yay, they're clapping. And then, bam, Joe turns and knocks Page down. The Ops are fully healed now. They start attacking Page. They start beating him while he's down. That probably was a better moment than the match. And not to say that the match was bad.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. And that makes total sense because, like I said earlier, I think the Hurt Syndicate have been faces for a long time. I think they came out, and like when they came to AEW, I think they were supposed to be heels, but I think they just got so much over with the crowd. And I mean, you can even listen to their promos; they don't sound heelish at all.
But let's move to what was the main event. When you talk about what you like and don't like with WrestleDream, you can probably mention this match. Let's just be honest. Of the people I don't like in AEW, I always talk about Orange Cassidy being pushed too much. I always talk about Darby Allin being pushed too much and all this. I can tolerate Darby a lot more than all of them. In fact, this was for the most of this match, this was perfectly how this match should have been. Moxley just beating the crap out of Darby in every which way possible, and Darby not giving up. That's how this match should go. Moxley just destroying Darby. At one point, dunking his head in an aquarium, trying to drown him. And to get Darby to quit, Darby would not quit.
And the lights go out, and
this is where
we see... I hope he came down from the rafters. I doubt he did, but it would have been great. But the lights come back on. Colonel Sanders, KFC's out there.
Yeah, the Colonel Sanders version of Sting, the old Sting. He's there. He's got the bat, and this scared me a little bit. He starts hitting Mox with the bat, but then he cracks the aquarium with the bat, and they just leave the aquarium in the ring. That scared me. I'm watching get the aquarium out of the ring. Oh my God, it's broken glass everywhere. There's broken glass sticking up. Oh my goodness.
No, the glass was fine, but they didn't break the whole aquarium.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then like a couple seconds later, I think Darby would end up breaking it, but they would actually make it worse. It would just be like a giant spike.
There's just a giant spike of glass sticking up. Yeah, that scared the crap out of me.
Anyway, this match was Darby getting destroyed the whole time until Sting comes in, and this is where it was supposed to hit its third gear.
But it doesn't even get...
Because at where Sting finishes and Darby is doing his comeback and getting the Scorpion Death Drop on, or lock on, it is 11:28.
Mox taps too quick.
He doesn't even tap. The ref, right when the death lock gets locked in, the ref says, "Oh, it's over."
Yeah, it was just way too quick, way too messy, way too horrible. After getting destroyed for 23 minutes almost.
Yeah,
you're going to use the next 2 minutes 54 seconds to win?
That doesn't make any sense.
It does not. It didn't make sense at all.
Yeah, it's a Scorpion Deathlock. You are laying on broken glass. But he didn't give up. The ref gave up because it was 11:28, and as Darby's celebrating, right when he gets on the turnbuckle, the screen cuts black. Right when it hits 11:30. So they had it. Honestly, I don't even know if it's the Mercedes Moné match, because now I think that had to happen. But it was this FTR match at the front that took way too long.
You could have taken FTR and the Hayter Tekla match off of the main card and put them on the pre-show.
Well, there was multiple matches on the pre-show, but there should have only been those two. And that's the problem. How about this? If you see, hey, it's 11:25, we don't have time. Why don't you call an audible and have Moxley win? Because there's no logical way you can make
it did not look good at
Darby look good in a win if it's
yeah, he's taking a beating for, like I said, 23 minutes. But yeah, that is
or the ref should have been more aware of what is going on with the time, and he should have told them, hey, you guys have 10 minutes left. You need to figure this out really quick.
Well, if Tony's not going to be the one in Gorilla going, hey, relay to Sting, we need him to come down now, and did it about, instead of doing it at, like I said, I think it was like 23 minutes when he came down. Instead of doing it then, do it at like 17, 18 minutes. So you still have some type of believability to go on out there. There has to be some call made. I don't care who makes the call. Ref in the ring, Mox makes the call, Tony backstage, a Gorilla, somebody make the call. The way that match ended was...
And that's really the point of this show is WrestleDream could have been a lot better had the time been managed better, because the last pay-per-view, what was it, All Out?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
That was one of the perfect pay-per-views on time they've ever done. I love that time. So it was just...
Yeah, I mean...
That's the point of this show, is they need to do better.
This Week in History.
Well, all right, now it's time for This Week in History. And the week we're looking at October 13th through the 19th. Not a lot of big things this week, but there are some significant things, if you will. October 17th, 2012. We are going to go back to 2012 to look at this, as it was at the TNA Impact taping in Orlando. Ooh. James Storm would win his first TNA World Heavyweight title, defeating Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
The Cowboy James Storm. I remember watching him with Chris Wildcat Harris when they were America's Most Wanted. Triple X, Elix Skipper walking the cage. Boy, that is one of my favorite TNA memories right there. October 16th, 2004, Samoa Joe and CM Punk would fight to a 1-hour time limit draw for the ROH World Championships. Joe versus Punk 2.
Yeah. They had a trilogy. The original trilogy. It was one of the things that put early Ring of Honor on the map, besides that incredible debut show. Mm-hmm. This is early Ring of Honor. This was... If your guy had a tape tray to this, you gave him something good to get this, because this is, everyone wanted this.
October 14th, 2002, we head to Japan, where Yuji Nagata would defeat Kazuyuki Fujita for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at the Spiral Tap event in Tokyo.
Nice.
Now for the big one this week, we got to go back to 1997. October 13th, 1997 to be exact, on Raw, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chyna, and Rick Rude would officially use the name DX for the first time. They would interrupt an in-ring interview with Vince McMahon and the Hart Foundation. Now, Bret Hart, he says he came up with DX because he said he didn't like Shawn Michaels. He was a degenerate, and since Generation X was going around at that time, he said you should call him D-Generation X. Shawn says, no, Vince Russo came up with it. I don't care who's right, who's wrong. Anytime Vince Russo's giving credit, I'm like, nah, it's the other guy. give it to the other guy. So I'm going to say Bret Hart came up with it.
Well, Bret has had a little bit of the Hogan syndrome after Goldberg kicked him in the chin, so...
Well, I mean, to be honest, I would still be bitter because Goldberg was not trained and he was not apologetic about it at all. If there was some type of apologizing about it, and Goldberg's like, well, that's just how it is, man. It's like, dude, no, come on. Yeah. What are you talking about? But that is This Week in History.
Match of the Week.
All right, so Match of the Week time. And Match of the Week, I think both of my honorable mention and my Match of the Week are going to come from WrestleDream. In fact, I don't see how they can't, to be quite honest with you. But this is gonna be odd for people. My honorable mention is going to be the world title match. Adam Page and Samoa Joe. That's the honorable mention on this show. What do you got?
I'll give it to Young Bucks and Jurassic Express. I thought that was really well done. The story made complete sense to me. I am excited to see where they go, so yeah.
Well, for Match of the Week, it could have very well been. It could have very well been the tag title match, although I gave the world title match, Adam Page, Samoa Joe, I gave that my honorable mention over the tag title match. But you do have to mention that because it was a good match and it was a good story match, too, with Okada to catch the tease there.
Right.
But I think my Match of the Week has got to be what I assume to be the finale of the Kyle Fletcher, Mark Briscoe storyline. It's got to be the TNT title match, yeah.
It was amazing. And even though I knew in the back of my head, I was like, Kyle Fletcher's going to retain. As I was watching it, I was like, yeah, Briscoe might win. And that's how you do a match. Mm-hmm. And it was a great match, too. Like
I was talking earlier with the women's title match, you're talking about how it was like a planned out match. You always knew during that match that Chris Statlander was going to walk away with it. It never made you guess at all. Mm-hmm. This match, you're pretty sure, Kyle Fletcher's going to keep it, but the match made you guess. The match made you go, dude, Mark Briscoe could totally win this.
If you don't understand what we're talking about, go find this show and watch Briscoe and Fletcher, and then go watch Statlander and Tony Storm, and you'll see what we mean by booking out the whole match or planning out the whole match and then not planning out the whole match.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean...
And neither one is bad. It's just, if you mess up when you plan out the whole match, it is more glaringly obvious than when you didn't plan it. And everyone knows that you planned the match, even though you didn't tell anyone you planned it. If you mess up during a plan, people know.
To be fair to Chris Statlander, she does not have that big of a moment ever before, I don't think, in her career. While Kyle Fletcher, Mark Briscoe, you can just put them in a ring and tell them to go, and they can figure it out on their own. They don't have to talk about it beforehand. They can just go and work. I don't know if Statlander has enough experience to go and work. At the same token, you don't get that experience by planning it out. You just go and work and see what happens. But that is Match of the Week.
And after it's all over, you say, oh, what a lovely tea party.
Third League. Wrestling Radio.
All right, now we are going to talk about upcoming shows, and none of these shows have any matches announced. But one of them I only want to mention because on a podcast I get to say this. I'm going to have to cut this for the radio part. But the name of this show from DMDU Deathmatch Down Under in Australia, Not Here to Fuck Spiders. You gotta give them creative points just for the name alone. And the spiders in Australia, I mean, yeah, definitely fits.
I hope Steve Irwin's son is the pre-show and he just goes out there and hunts a bunch of spiders.
He just starts giving lectures. Now this spider here, she can kill you with her teeth. And it's what? God, okay. Moving on, though, to an actual show. This one might be interesting. Rev Pro in London. It's called London 101. That might be interesting. There are no names announced for that yet, but it's at Portchester Hall, and that's coming up on November 2nd. So we're going to keep our eye on that one. Now, names announced, no matches announced for this one. Major League Pro's next event. The Arena Rumble coming up in, just a few days,
Did you
actually.
say Major League Pro?
Maple League Pro. Wow. But yeah, that's coming up in Toronto on the 27th. Names to be involved: Giselle Shaw, Carlito, Colt Cabana, Microman, Matt Hardy. Now announced as well for a Maple Leaf Pro show.
Matt Hardy versus Microman?
Hey, there you go. That's a match.
Is that what you said?
No, well, I mean, these are names announced. There are no matches announced yet.
I thought you were saying Giselle Shaw's going to be there, and then we got Microman versus...
I mean, that's, you know what? They both probably work the same style, so it might actually fit. But yeah, you would expect Giselle Shaw to be there. I mean, with Scott D'Amore putting on the show and all. I mean, they're kind of married, so you would expect her to be there on the show. But no matches are announced yet. But that
what about Tessa Blanchard versus Giselle Shaw? That would be the worst women's match of all. Did you know Tessa Blanchard? Her last 2 matches, I believe, were both like 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 on Cage Match.
Odd you mentioned Tessa Blanchard and Giselle Shaw, the only 2 women from TNA who have ever appeared on the show.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. That's Maple Leaf Pro coming up in, a couple days, actually, on the 27th. Those are shows to look forward to. That is our show today. We'll see you next time. Third League Radio.
Thank you for listening to this edition of Third League Radio. Download the latest episodes at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Catch the live radio show every weekend starting at 10 p.m. You can listen live every Friday night at mix961.net. This has been Third League Radio.